Roarin Elizabeth Warren is back, taking the head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency to task for not doing enough to help average Americans from losing their homes. So her fiery rhetoric we're going to get to, but first here is her laying out the problem when it comes to housing finance.
We talk a little bit about the law here. One of your duties under the law is to preserve and conserve the assets of Fannie and Freddie. But another duty given equal importance by Congress, and I'm reading from the law here, is to implement a plan that seeks to maximize assistance for homeowners and take advantage of available programs to minimize foreclosures. Congress explicitly included reduction of loan principal as an option for your agency to pursue. Principal reduction is often a win-win that both helps Fannie and Freddie and helps a family. A 2013 CBO study, for example, found that even a modest principal reduction plan for Fannie and Freddie mortgages could help 1.2 million underwater homeowners, prevent 43,000 defaults, and save Fannie and Freddie about $2.8 billion. The Treasury Department has found that principal reductions could save Fannie and Freddie nearly $4 billion and help 500,000 homeowners stay in their home.
So there the senator is laying out some of the studies that have shown that making the changes that she advocates for would help out, in some cases, tens of thousands, in some cases, millions of Americans. But now she's going to get a little bit personal and attack the head of that organization for not doing enough to help these people.
It has been 6 years since Congress created FHFA, and in all that time, your agency has never, not once, permitted a family to reduce its principal mortgage through Fannie or Freddie. I've asked about this repeatedly, and you've said you'd look into allowing Fannie and Freddie to engage in principal reduction. You said it again today. You've been in office for nearly a year now, and you haven't helped a single family, not even one, by agreeing to a principal reduction. So I want to know why this has not been a priority for you. The data are there.
It's probably an overstatement, Senator Warren, to say it's not been a priority. It has been a priority. It's just a very difficult issue, and the reason it's difficult is because we are looking for exactly what you said, which is a win-win situation.
Well, forgive me, though.
We have to do this in a way that is responsible. Otherwise, we just reduce principal for everybody across the board. Is not what anybody, I think, is advocating for. So then we have to decide, okay, what is a responsible
Chairman
way
Watt,
to do
you
it?
have had a year to do that. You've known for 5 years before that what the problem was. We have 2 studies coming out showing that Fannie and Freddie could make money by doing this. One from the Treasury Department and one from the CBO. I'm not even talking about all the private studies on this. In the meantime, during this year, you've done the reps and warranties policy, you've done the buyback policy, you've done private mortgage insurance rules, you've done a whole list of really tough technical things, and I applaud you for doing that. But people have lost their homes in the last year, and every day that you delay, more families lose their homes. There are 5.4 million families out there underwater. So I want to know, when are you going to have an answer on this one?
We're going to have the answer sooner. It won't be as long as it has been. Let me put it that way.
Oh my God, he is just stumbling and bumbling. He's so nervous. This is the reason why Elizabeth Warren is such an incredible human being, right? Because in the age of legalized bribery, when corporations own politicians, she's still principled. She's still looking out for the little guy. I knew nothing about principal reduction and how much it helps both parties, both homeowners and also these huge, banks that give out these loans, right, mortgages. So I love the fact that she's raising awareness about it, and I love the fact that she's really fighting in favor of it. And I just loved his face. That was amazing. And she sits there and she calmly states the evidence. She calmly states the data, and it's really something that you can't dispute. It's indisputable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's saying there, certainly nobody is advocating for just across-the-board principal reduction. I mean, it sounds like she's maybe not totally across the board, but she's in favor of quite a bit of it. And of course, I mean, it seems, look, I'm not an expert on this, but it does seem like a win-win because if you keep the principal as high as it is, in many cases, people get their houses foreclosed on.
Right.
They go into bankruptcy, they don't make any payments. If you lower it, then they can pay. Not as much as perhaps in an ideal world they would, but it's certainly better than zero. It's better than a city being filled up with homes with people not living in them.
Yeah.
So that seems like a good thing there, I would imagine. But he seems to think that the idea that as a result of this recession, just basically giving people money, we would never do that. You have to be a bank for us to just hand over loads of money to you. You can't just be an American family. That would be insane. But yeah, she's doing what she's supposed to do. Now understand, this guy, the head of the FHFA, is a Democrat, an Obama appointee, used to be a congressional Democrat. This is not some Republican. He seemed like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
He was thinking, you're not as nice as you look, woman.
Yeah.
But she was doing her job. And look, we're going to give her credit. We should give her credit because we very rarely see anybody acting the way she is right there. But this shouldn't be an indication that this is a woman who's going to run for president. This is what every single senator should do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every single senator should do this, but the reason why they don't do it is something that we talk about on the show all the time, which is money in politics.
Yeah.
We're not going to get all into that right now. But the fact that she is attacking another Democrat for not doing his job also makes me admire her, because it's not about polarized politics. It's not about supporting your own party. It's not about avoiding any criticism toward your own party. It's about holding politicians accountable, and that's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love about her is what she tried to do with student loans, right? So when you get a student loan, and it's a federal student loan, she believes that the interest rate should be capped at the same amount that banks pay when they get a federal loan, right?
Crazy.
And people were, I think it's 0.75%, right? And it's incredible that banks get an interest rate like that, but students who are going to school so they can better the future of themselves, but not only that, the future of this country, can't get an interest rate like that.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, like bare minimum, something like a little bit less than 4%, and newer ones could be 5, 6, 7, 8%. But 0.75 for the banks, who then just sit on the money anyway.
Exactly.
And so, as we reported a couple of weeks ago, Elizabeth Warren is in a new leadership position amongst the Democrats in the Senate. Now, not everybody was in favor of her getting that position, and so we're going to talk a little bit about the number 3 Democrat in the Senate, Chuck Schumer. When Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid was in talks with Elizabeth Warren to create a new leadership position for her, Chuck Schumer, the number 3 Democrat, and the head of the Democratic Policy and Communications Center, suggested that Reid also bring in Senator Mark Warner to balance out Warren's liberal politics. Schumer also suggested possibly narrowing the scope of the new post Warren was going to get. So, balance out the liberal politics. This is the Democratic leadership. We can't just have liberal politics. We have to balance it out with a man like Mark Warner, who is politely called a moderate. If you're a longtime viewer of TYT, you know what that actually means in the Democratic Party. And so balance her out. She's too popular. We don't want that. We need to balance her out and possibly clip her wings so that she doesn't do things like exactly what she did with the head of the FHFA today.
I mean, I think it really is a big problem for the Democratic Party to have a representative that's actually looking out for the middle class and the working class. The problem is there are too many politicians doing that right now, and we need someone to come in and, oh, wait a minute. It's actually the other way around.
No, we need more Mark Warners.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Anyway, so Elizabeth Warren, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully you will inspire other Democrats to do the same.